welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of my round fairy journal. What you can see me doing here is just adding a little bit of embossing to the front cover. I found a lovely copper embossing powder in my stash, so I thought that would look nice as some highlights on the texture of the cover. The fairy I also embossed with a clear embossing powder. These flowers were die cuts, so I've used a silver embossing powder to go on that one, and that's all to try and lift the fairy away from the background a bit. This was just an experiment I did with a bit of cheesecloth and some thread to see whether that could actually be embossed. The thread didn't work very well, but the cheesecloth was okay. A warning, if you try this at home, do not pick it up until it has cooled down. It'll stick to your finger and burn you. I know from experience. So I'm gluing down my little textural mishmash of cheesecloth there onto the page, the cover, I should say, next to the fairy. Just wanted to make a little bit more contrast on there between the front of her body and the back of the cover, like the background. Okay, so now I'm actually doing the pages. So I'd cut out the images from the book and tried to cut them in a logical way, but it's really hard when you're working on a round journal. I probably shot myself in the foot by making it as small as I did. If it had been a little bit bigger, then it would have been easier to work with. But hey ho, that's the way it goes, isn't it? So, you know, sometimes you regret the choices you make. But anyway, I've made it work in the end. So all I do is add some laces, and I love this daisy chain thing I got from AliExpress actually. So they're really cute. So I've decided that I'm going to put this doily around the edge, so I've cut the middle out of it. So this is what it started off looking like. So I've cut the middle out, I'm left with this, this little edge here, which I believe will fit around. Now what's going to happen is it's extending past the edge of the limit of the page, which is great. I'm happy for that to happen. So it will peep out beyond the cover. So I'm using this Boyle craft glue, so it's a quick drying craft glue, suitable for lots of different things. So I really like that, so I'm going to put that there, and I'm thinking that a piece of this here well, I don't really want it straight, but I don't want it that crooked, so I'm going to taking that there. Then I've got my image, and then I have a couple of these little embroidered daisies. So it will look like that. Okay, so first I'll glue down this piece. Now I'm only going to decorate one side of each page, because the other side is going to be where the journaling business is happening. So there'll be pockets or flips or something in there to write on, but I have to sort that out. That is fast gluing. I was going to put it underneath the other thing, but it's too dry already. Oh, that's cute. This was the problem with that book, is the designs, the images were back to back. Now I don't know which one I want to use. They're both beautiful. Okay. So that was my original intent, was to use that one. Then I turned it over and saw that one. This one might go better with the little yellow things, perhaps. Let's have a look. 6 1/2 dozen of the other, isn't it? Oh, but I'll stick with my original plan. Now I'm using this glue, and I know I'm only gluing down paper, but it's got to go over that cloth, over the doily, so I want to make sure that it does actually stick. This is a tacky sort of, I don't know, it's a bit like Fabri-Tac, I think. Okay, so what I have done is put eyelets on the pages. I wasn't going to, and then I thought for durability I think it's a good idea. So now I've got this here, so I believe that I'll roughly cut out the flower that's in this piece of lace. See if I can get that to fit in there. Maybe there. Okay, so I'll put that there. And these little daisies. I need to get another one in there. Can't just have 2. I think I'll just put that there. Okay, so that's my first page decorated. I'm not doing them all exactly the same. I want some things to be different on them. And the images I cut out are different shapes. The book itself had like a frame around each picture, so it was hard to get a full image or a circular image, so I had to be a little bit creative with how I cut them out. Okay, so number 1 down. So this is my cover. So how beautiful is it going to be to open this up, for someone to open this up, and then that's what they're going to see inside it. Okay, I'm really happy with that. Love it. Now, number 2. Yeah. That's a lovely little image, and I like that it's circular that way. So be really careful when you buy something. If it doesn't have measurements on the description, then it's probably not going to be what it looks like. which I found out with this little fairy book. Okay, so for this one I might put a bit of this lace. Okay, so if I can get it to do something like that. Yeah, like that. So, and then maybe if I can stick that on there, and then my fairy can go there. I'm going to go and just run a little line of stitching around that so that I can gather it. Okay, so I think this is what I'm going to do on here. I just need to adjust that a little bit. So I'm going to glue this all on. And I think just get the edge on first and then glue the inside bits, because the edge is the important piece. Doesn't matter if the rest of it moves around a little bit, but I really want to get these edges to look nice. So I can get that like that, and then I'm just going to squirt some glue in underneath. Press that down. Just adjust these as I need to. Okay, so then the little fairy is going to go on there. So I'm using heaps of glue because I really want it to stick, and I don't want it coming off because this book is going to be sold. So I don't want the person who buys it to have to send it back because it's falling apart. Okay, so and then these flowers will go around the outside. My dog just came in here. She must think I'm talking to somebody. I mean, I am talking to hundreds of people, I hope. But she must have thought someone was in here with me. She come in and she's looking around. She's gone now. Yeah, if I put that one over that a little bit, like that. I cut these out of an old calendar. So it only had, like it was plain on one side, and then a picture on the other. So I've put it to good use. I've been filming this over a period of about a week now. I was doing a voiceover because of the noise in the neighbourhood. And when I was talking about how I made the pages and the covers, I did forget to mention that I had sewn around the outside of each one, around the edge. So that's something that I didn't tell you. I think if you'd looked, you would have seen it anyway. So I'd like to put another one there to cover up where that little gap is. No, I don't really like that there. Maybe a bit of cheesecloth. And that doesn't matter if that hangs out the bottom, that's fine. So lift up those other bits and pop it in there. think I need to put a clip on that to keep it down. Like that. Okay, so I'll say that's 2 done. Another one here. This fella's got red. This one's got red too. I do have some red lace. Let's just see what that looks like underneath. I don't mind that, but I think it needs something else with it. What about this one? Would it be better? I think that's better. Okay. You know, I might just cut that whole circle out, glue the whole thing down, and then just trim it off. So I'm really only wanting to get the red bits in there. Okay, so it's roughly a circle. Okay, so let's get rid of this darker bit. This came off a dress. It was a dress that I bought for a special occasion. I never wore it. I thought that it would probably be, you know, like just catch on everything, having the crochet layer over the top, the lace layer. So I do that, and I've got that bit sticking out. Maybe a piece of this along there. I think I really need to glue that down before I keep changing my mind about things. We can do something like that. I still feel like it needs something white behind it, and I almost feel like the image is too big. It needs to be cut down a little bit. But it's such a shame to cut any of it off. I'm thinking another piece of cheesecloth. I try not to be too repetitive, but I think the cheesecloth is just going to be the enough white for what I want. Okay, so I'm just going to glue that down now. Might as well just cover the whole page in the glue. I want heaps of it. Oh, now everything's sticking to my fingers again. Okay, so it went this way. Like so. Sort of stretch it a little bit, maneuver it around. Okay, let's put a piece of cheesecloth on there. Just going to lay it there. If I can get it to stop sticking to my fingers, I can poke it down into the glue. I think these pages are going to have to go underneath a heavy book or something till they're 100% dry to make sure that everything is in place, and then there's no chance that it's going to lift up. I just want to trim off a little bit of this, do it from the back. that bit. Gonna leave the rest hanging. Definitely needs something there though. I'm sort of thinking that maybe this is the best option, but I want to cut it down a little bit smaller. Might end up putting a button or something like that in here. Well, battery ran out, so I'm not sure whether you saw everything, but I trimmed that down, glued it there, and I've got this little bit. I'm going to put that on there. If I don't use that scrap, it probably won't get used. And yeah, be ashamed to throw it away. Everything's got glue on it. There's bits of thread stuck everywhere. And this needs a little bit more glue here. Oh dear. Yuck. Okay, so that's 3 pages done. I like that. It's different. This lace is different. No, people don't use red lace, so we don't see it very often. So that's the 3 that I've got done so far. So I've worked out how my last 3 pages are going to be. So this one, this is going to be a belly band. So I've got a bit of card there. I've got some sari silk. I've got some lace. Cut my fairy into an oval and put it onto another piece of card so it's a little bit stronger and stitched around it. And then I've got these flowers ink stained the other day, so they're the die cuts, so they'll be like that. This one, I'm using this little green fairy, and I've got a piece of cardstock that I've stitched some pale yellow striped fabric onto, and with lace over the top, so that's going to be on there. And when I glue this down, it won't be glued down on this side, so that'll be like a pocket, a side pocket there. And then this goes over the top, so I've stitched the flower onto that flower from a magazine onto the piece of lace. Then the fairy's going to go on top there, then that'll go there, then there's this little flower, I'm not sure whether I'll put that on there. So that'll be the second last one, and this is the last one. So I'll just bring that up a bit so you can see what it looks like. So it's my fairy, scraps of fabric made into a cluster. That's just a scrap of fabric, as is that. It's actually, that's the right way, it's out of a chindi rag rug. So you find some little treasures in amongst them sometimes. So that was one of the special bits that I found. So I'm just going to put all these together and glue them, and then I'll show you what they look like at the end. Alrighty, so here are the pages. I've completed the decorative part of them. I've still got to make pockets and little writing spots to go in them. So I'll just give you a quick look at this. So this is the cover, and I've added this little bit in here just to give that a little bit more dimension and a little bit more contrast. So these aren't in any particular order, so I'm not sure how they'll go into the book, in what order I'm in. So that's one page there, and that's a pocket under this. Behind here is a pocket. This one is just decorative, has no function. This one has no function either, just decorative. Made with doilies and cheesecloth and the fairy, of course, and some lace off a dress. This one is also just a decorative page, so it's got lace and the die-cut flowers that I stained with all the different inks. And I've got a little fairy there, some cheesecloth. This one is a belly band. Yeah, I can pull it right through. So I've got a piece of card with a piece of sari silk there, which has been ironed flat. Then I've got lace, a little bit of music paper. I cut my fairy out into an oval shape and stitched around it, and it's also got a piece of card on the back, and this is more of the die cut flowers that I dyed. So that's that page. And this one, just a piece of rag, really, cloth out of a chindi rag rug. So a bit of lace, scrap of fabric, a fairy image, and just a little cluster of scraps. So these are going to protrude from all the little bits and pieces from the covers a little bit, just enough to make you I hope anyway, that it will tempt someone to open it up and have a look at what's inside. And I won't put it together till I've put the pockets. And I think I need to do something with this flower on the front. It's a little bit bent over, but I might have to replace that. But anyway, so that's the thickness of it. It'll be a little bit thicker when the pockets and things go on. That's the bottom, that's the top. So I'll leave this video now, and in the next video I'll make the pockets and the little writing spots and use the sari silk to bind it together through the eyelet holes there. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed seeing this process, and I'll see you in my next video. So I'll say cheers from Australia. Hooroo.